Hello everyone, and congratulations on finally reaching the last topic for this course, the Rice Liberalization Act of 2019. So, to set the context, as we may know, this became quite an issue when this bill was signed in 2019 by our former President Rodrigo Roa Duterte, concerning most especially our farmers. The Rice Liberalization Act of 2019, or the Republic Act number 11208, is an act amending the Republic Act number 8178, or the Agricultural Tariffication Act of 1996. Under this law, limitations on rice imports will be lifted and tariffication system is imposed in replacement of the quantitative restrictions or the QR. So, tanan maka-import og rice is because importing license is no longer needed as long as they are part of the DA Trade System Registration Procedure and are also registered with the BPI or the Bureau of Plant Industry, and as well as they pay their tax accordingly. So why did we shift to the tariff system? So in 1996, the Philippines have imposed a tariffication system from quantitative restriction in all of our agricultural products, which I've mentioned earlier, except for rice. So with our commitment to the World Trade Organization, who imposed the quantitative restriction in all agricultural products be replaced with the tariff system, we complied our domestic law with the international agreement, hence the passage of the RA 11203. And how this works was already mentioned in our previous discussions. Now, kung mababa ang selling price na isa-set ng NFA, malamang sa malamang yun yung bibilhin o yun yung pagtutuunan ng pansin ng mga bumili o ng mga tao. Especially kung malaki yung agwat nila compared to the imported rice. So, that's where the balancing of the prices happens. And mapipilitan yung mga nagbebenta ng imported rice na i-level or babaan din yung presyo ng kanilang mga binebenta. So the question is, how is this implementation going to help with the balancing of the prices, especially with rice? So with the presence of the NFA, price of rice will stabilize to be affordable for our local consumers, where NFA, or the National Food Authority, will get their sources solely from farmers or farmer corporations.
So, hi everyone, my name is Raul Cateria Baligot Jr. and I am one of the reporter of the objectives of tariffication law. So, the first objective is the fulfill international commitment. So, this law was invented for us to do our commitment in World Trade Organization since 1995. Nga limitahan ang pag-import og bugas in other country for us to support our local farmers and our agricultural sector. And the second is ensure rice availability. By this law, it allows more private traders, even if it is small or big, just to import our rice product. And also by this, mas mapadali ang pagsulod sa supply sa rice sa tuwang market and mas mahimong accessible sa tuwa mga Pilipino. The last of my part is lower domestic rice prices. So here is makita na to nga dako tong ma-benefit kay lower lower na ang prices sa rice nga which is needed kayo sa atong daily lives. We eat 3 times a day, and dako ang ma-benefit sa ato ang mga for those family nga lower ang income. The other objectives will be discussed by my groupmate Matthew Violon. Thank you.
To continue, number 4, the make domestic market function effectively and efficiently by reducing the government intervention. The law lets the market operate more efficiently. This means that supply and demand can set prices, making the market work better on its own. So this the kaning tugon nga ang market sa rice nga mas nga mulyok sa kabulingon nga dili kayo dagan ang intervention sa government aron mahimong mas hapsay ang dagan sa market. So number 5, provide farmers equivalent protection. So the law includes 35% tariff on imported rice to protect the local farmers from foreign rice. It also provides assistance to farmers who may face challenges due to the increased competition. So kani nga pagbutang sa tax sa imported nga rice, so matabangan ang mga local farmers aron dili kay sila mapildi sa competition gikan sa mga gawas. So, dugang pa ang government maghatag og tabang sa mga local farmers nga mapiktado sa mga changes. So, number 6, so the 6, this provide opportunity for farmers to earn more in the world market. So by removing the restriction on rice exports, the law encourage farmers to grow higher quality rice for export, helping them to earn more in the global market. So this support farmers in producing special rice varieties that are popular internationally. So gini nga pagkuha sa limitation sa pag-export sa bugas ng gitagaan og kuan ang mga local farmers nga magtanom og mas quality nga rice nga ilang ibaligya sa gawas para mas malaki ilang kita. So thank you, Marto.
So for the key provisions of the Rice Tarification Act, first are the tarification. The law sets a tax of 35% on rice imported from Asian countries and 50% on the rice from other countries. Pinaagyan ni provision ma-help ang atong country by making rice from nearby countries cheaper and more available, which can lower prices for everyone. Second are the lifting of quantitative restrictions. The law removes limits on how much rice can be imported or exported. So pinaagi yan more rice can come in and which may lower the prices of local rice, and however it could also make it harder for local farmers to compete kay since bawasan naman ang limit, so nagi competition kanang mga local farmers. The third are the powers of the president. The president can change the tax rates in rice imports based on advice from experts. So kapangyarihan ng president ka i-change niya ang tax rate pero with the advice of the experts. If there's a risk of running out of rice, the president can allow lower taxes for rice imports for a short time. This ensures that people have enough rice to eat during emergencies. So pinaagyan power ang president para dili maot na nag-rice ang mga people. labi na sa emergencies. And the next are the rice industry roadmaps. So kani nga provision, the Department of Agriculture will create a plan to support small rice farmers who might struggle because of these changes. So namay changes sa Tarification Act, nagbuhat ang DA o Rice Industry Roadmaps para ni matabangan ng mga small rice farmers. The roadmap will outline the help farmers needed, ensuring they can continue to grow rice and support our country's food supply. Additionally, a special team was formed to focus on this plan, showing the government's commitment to the rice industry. The rice industry roadmap.
Number 4, the key provision is the creation of Rice Competitiveness Enhancement or RCEF, a fund that will be created from tariff revenues of rice imports and will be used to directly support rice farmers and funds innovative undertakings of the government to further strengthen the rice industry. It aims to provide key interventions to support farmers and enhance their competitiveness and profitability, including farm machineries and equipment to improve farm operations, rice seed development, propagation and promotion, expanded rice credit and extension services. So RCEF is again designed to support Filipino rice farmers in response to the liberalization of rice imports, which was intended na i-reduce ang price sa rice and to make it more affordable para sa mga consumers. With the creation sa RCEF, iyang ginahelp ang farmers na mag-adopt sa modern farming technologies kay, as we all know, with modernization sa farming, kay ma-improve nato atong productivity and mas maka-cope up ta sa atong economic status, which will enable us to better compete with imported rice. So, ang funds na gamiton sa RCEF is gikan sa na-collect na tariff revenues from imported rice. The RCEF will be allocated to rice-producing areas and earmarked as follows. Number 1 is 50% sa allocated funds kay muadto sa PhilMec. Ang PhilMec naman ang responsible to provide farmers with the farm machineries and equipments para sa para mag-improve ang ilang farm productivity and efficiency. While the 30% from the funds will go to PhilRice. Kabalo naman tang ang atong PhilRice is sila ang deal sa research. So, kanina funds kay intended ni siya para ma-enhance ang farm productivity through research, development, and extension services. So, the remaining 20% was divided equally to distribute to credit facilities or bangko and sa mga institute na ga-provide of training like ATI and TESDA. Ang 10% na napadulong sa credit facility is used to provide financial support sa atong rice farmers, particularly sa atong mga galisod maka-access sa lending institutions. Kani siya is managed ni siya by the Land Bank of the Philippines and the Development Bank of the Philippines, which is ga-offer sila minimal interest rates and with minimum collateral requirements to rice farmers para maka-invest sila sa modern farm practices, ma-afford nila ang necessary inputs, and para sad ma-improve nila ilang productivity. And ang nabili na 10% nag-distribute para sa institutions, nag-provide of training programs for farmers and agricultural workers para ma-hone ilang knowledge sa productivity and competitiveness in the market.
So, number 6 is insurance of sanitary and phytosanitary import clearance for rice for the sole purpose. So, the purpose of the insurance in this case is to provide coverage for any financial risks that might occur if the rice fails to meet these standards upon arrival. For example, if a shipment of rice is found to be contaminated or infected with pests and it is rejected by the customers or quarantine authorities. The importer could face significant losses, including costs for disposal, re-exportation, or other penalties. The insurance helps mitigate these risks and offers financial protection during the importation process. So number 7 is National Single Window Program. So the National Single Window Program is designed to simplify, digitalize, and integrate the regulatory procedures for trade, making it easier for businesses to comply with requirements and improving the overall efficiency of international trade processes. In the context of the Philippines, the Philippine National Single Window Program connects government agencies like Bureau of Customs, Department of Agriculture, Bureau of Plant Industry, and others to provide a seamless way to importers and exporters to process their shipments. Importers can submit documents such as customs declarations, health certifications, or phytosanitary permits through these platforms, allowing them to get necessary approvals more quickly. So, number 8 is the exclusion and transfer of the regulatory function of the National Food Authority o NFA to the Bureau of Plant Industry o BPI. So it refers to a restructuring and reorganization process in the Philippines where certain functions and responsibilities that were originally held by the NFA, specifically related to food regulation, were transferred to the Bureau of Plant Industry or BPI, an agency under Department of Agriculture. So number 9 is the Special Rice Safeguard. So the special rice safeguard is a protective mechanism that allows a country to impose extra tariffs on rice imports if there is a significant surge that threatens domestic rice production. So its primary goal is to safeguard the interests of local rice farmers and ensure market stability while adhering the international trade agreements.
Number 10 on the key provisions, priority beneficiaries of mechanization. These priority beneficiaries kay katong mga smallholders lang na farmers ang nadere. So there are 1,100 na producing towns ang na-identified na pasok sa priority beneficiaries. Ga-provide sila og subsidized access to modern machinery and equipment. For example, tractor, transplanter, harvester, dryer, and rice miller nga magka-help sa rice farmers to gain and improve their production. The last one is the Rice Farmer Financial Assistance Program. Kani siya na program is ga-help siya sa farmers na i-improve ang ilang productivity, competitiveness, and income, and the increase of competition due to rice liberalization. Financial assistance and support provided by the RCEF to compensate rice farmers na mawada ng income. Kay kaning pag-liberalize sa imported rice is dako jud baya ni siya og challenge sa atong rice farmers kay gataas ang competition sa market. Maong kani siya na fund sa kanina program is iyang gina-assist ang farmers to achieve competitiveness due to production cost and maximizing income.
Rice Certification Law is also known as RA number 11203. It is a legal framework for the Rice Certification Bill. It was signed into law by President Rodrigo Duterte on March 5, 2009. It allows the liberalization of rice imports, removing the previously placed quota of rice imports and permitting traders to import a near unlimited quantity of rice, which has a significant shift from the previous system, which aimed local farmers through quantitative restrictions. Rice Tarification and Inflation. Rice Tarification is a law that allows free importation of rice in the Philippines. So there is no longer any restrictions on how much rice will be imported in our country, and that the price of rice will be determined by the market. Rice inflation is a general increase in the prices of rice that is caused by economic growth that results to increase of demand and low of supply. Rice tarification could contribute to inflation in short term, but it also could lead to lower prices in long. It is a substitution of Senate Bill numbers 1476, 1689, 1839, taking into consideration proposed Senate Resolution numbers 143, 146, and House Bill number 7735 with Senator Ralph Recto, Laila de Lima, Joel Villanueva, Reza Hontiveros, Grace Po, Sherwin Gatchalian, and Ms. Cynthia Villar as others. According to the National Economic Development Authority, or NEDA, rice tarification will directly benefit farmers and poor through lower prices and increased government assistance to the agricultural sector. And also, the NEDA is taking lead in crafting and implementing rules and guidelines of the rice tarification law, along with the Department of Budget and Management, Department of Agriculture, and other government agencies to ensure the country's smooth transaction of rice regime.
Positive effect of rice tarification has brought about some positive changes in the Philippines rice industry. It has helped to make rice more affordable for consumers by allowing more imported rice into the country. Lower retail prices for consumers. Rice tarification law that Filipinos can now buy rice at lower prices, which is especially helpful for poor families who spend a large portion of their income on food. Dako na kayong tabang sa ila kaning rice tarification law nga gibabaan ang presyo para mas maka-afford ang mga pobre nga pamilya nga dili kay ka-afford sa mga mamahalon nga mga bugas. And kani is sakto na pud sa ila nga makasustain sa ilang pang-adlaw-adlaw nga panginabuhi nga kapalit ra o makaya-kaya ra nila nga rice.
Address the rice shortage in the Philippines by allowing more rice to imported. This means that even if local farmers don't produce enough rice, there's still enough rice available in the country. It's like having a backup plan nga ma-make sure sa nga mabahin ang rice sa tanan na makakaon sila tanan. This also helps keep the price of rice from going too high, which is good for everyone, especially families who need to buy rice every day. Lower inflation rate. Rice tarification law has helped to lower inflation rates in the Philippines, allowing more imported rice into the country. The rice tarification law has increased the supply of rice, making it more affordable for consumers, so people don't need to spend as much money on rice, which can help to keep the overall prices from rising too quickly. For example, ang rice tarification law nagtaas og ayo ang presyo sa rice ug nag-contribute sa overall inflation, which is nakatabang ang RTL nga baba ang presyo sa rice na nakatabang na mubaba ang inflation tungod gipadali sa RTL ang pag-import sa mas barato nga bugas nga gikan sa lain nga country, which is nag-increase ang supply sa rice and nagpagbaba sa presyo. Intervention to support the rice farmers. Rice farmers face many challenges like unpredictable weather, changing market prices, and sometimes even pests and diseases. To help them, we can offer support in a few ways. One way is to provide training or new farming techniques that can help them grow more rice with less water and fertilizer. We can also help them get access to better seeds and tools, which can make their work easier and more efficient. This way, they can earn a good living and continue to grow for everyone. To support the rice farmers is to help them provide training or new water-saving farming method so that farmers learn how to use less water and still grow healthy rice. They also get access to better seeds that are stronger and resist pests.
Good day, everyone. My name is Derek Francisco, and for
At this point, I'll be discussing on the negative effects of rice tarification. So, there are three major points on the negative effects of rice tarification. First, we have new law lacks safety net for Filipino farmers. So, farmer groups believe that as more rice are imported in the country, so since mas mataas man ang supply sa imported rice, and then ang atong mga local farmers, especially if those in the small scale, will have to go down their price. So this means nga compete sila sa they will have to compete with the cheaper prices of the imported rice. So on the second major point on the negative effects of rice tarification is the potential displacement of farmers, NFA employees, accredited NFA retailers, rice millers, and rice byproduct producers. So first is the farmers. So ang atong mga farmers is maglist sila og kita kay mo lagi tanong kay makikompete man sila sa mga mas barato nga import sa bugas. So kasagaran sa atong mga farmers is mawala sila trabaho, tapos ang uban kay ginabaligya na nila ilang yuta kay maglisod man gyapon sila bawi sa ilang mga sa ilang investment. And then second one is the NFA employees. So ang NFA kung mag-reorganize sila or tungod lagi sa bag-ong regulation sa rice importation kay or for example is magbawas sila og mga trabahante mo tong atong mga NFA employees mawala pud sila og trabaho, and then the accredited NFA retailers o kaning mga gapamaligya og magikan sa NFA mao ni sila ang kibali kay as more imports are coming in the country man kay daghan na pud sila ka kompetensya. So locally ang katong mga kay mogamay man pud tong mga farmers or mga producers is gamay pud ilang supply mo tong ang kung katawhan is magsettle sila sa mga imported rice nga mas barato, and like kay nindot po ng quality, and then na siya. So some of the business and industries that will be affected by liberalized rice importation includes the following. First is the millers. So statistically speaking, mahal kayo ang milling facility. It would cost around 30 million to 50 million pesos. And if we estimate the total cost in the Philippines, it would be around 200 billion to 300 billion, according to statistics. And there are around 6,600 registered rice mills all over the country, employing 55,000 workers. So ang kaning atong mga rice millers, they will be affected by the rice tarification because kung mas gamay ang mag-supply locally, sabot mas gamay po ang pagaling sa atong mga rice millers. And then ang ilang mga facility is murag bitag one og belief kay mao lagi kay mawad ano trabaho tong mga farmers, and then wala na mapagaling sa ilaha. Mas malas ang mapagaling sa ilaha. So second one is the animal feeds in beer industry. So the animal feeds will be affected because ang kaning rice bran, which is a byproduct of the local unhusked rice, if there is a low supply on this, so it would cause a possible increase in the prices of pork and chicken. Kaya ang kaning rice bran man is mo ni siya ang major ingredient for feeds. So the third one on some other industries that are affected by the negative effects of rice tarification is the biomass and construction industry. So ang kaning maging rice hull, which is used for biomass to convert it into electricity to provide for provinces, kung mas gamay ang supply sa rice hull, hindi affected po sila ang biomass industry. And in the construction industry, because kaning rice hull, they used it as a binder for cement and land fillers. So kung mas gamay ang supply or ang farm input sa rice hull is maapektuhan yun, they can be negatively affected by the rice tarification. So lastly, on the third major point on the negative effects of rice tarification. So it will enable cartels of the rice trade and will throw poor sectors into a worsened state of hunger. So it will enable cartels of the rice trade. So the cartels of the rice trade are the ones kaning mo ni sila ang mo ni sila magunit sa supply bitaw magbuot sa price kay mo ni sila mga rice traders, and by this happening they will throw poor sectors into a worsened state of hunger because sa mala pa sa akong gingon na kaning atong mga small scale farmers, the more gid sila maglisod kay kung mas daghan ang importation nga mosulod sa country,
kung mas daghan ang importation nga masulod sa country, then they will have to level their price with the imported rice kay para lang maka-compete sila. And we know that domestically produced rice is far better than the imported ones. So, under a free market, the market price of rice will decline with the influx of cheaper rice imports.
In this part, we will discuss about the salient issues on rice tariffication. Number 1 is liberalizing rice imports. So liberalizing rice imports will help, but it will not solve the Philippines inflation problem. For example, just imagine you are buying a new phone. You have two options, which is a local brand and a foreign brand. And the government puts a high tax on the foreign brand to protect the local one, and that's the positive one. So, by doing that, this makes the foreign brand more expensive. So, mangita lang din sila ka ng alternative or di kaya mas halino ng atong local brand nga nakaka-control and sakto lang sa atong budget. And now, let's apply this to rice. So, naitabo man is, the government has lowered the tax on the imported rice. This means cheaper na ang imported rice and it can flood our markets. While this might make rice more affordable for consumers, sadly, it could hurt our local farmers. So, kumbaga, it's a double-edged sword. Kay, lagi, as a consumer, ganahan kita kay barato ang bugas, and we all know that the rice is kanang staple na siya sa pang daily lives. It's because we need rice 3 times a day or basta daily. So, ganahan kaya consumers. But for our local farmers, mas ma-affected sila ani nga liberalization. It's because kay kung kamay ang abot, kamay pagid ang ilang pagbaligya, kung saan na lang mabalik sila. So wala na kay matuyok na kaning money. So makatanong na pag-utro, magkautang-utang na hinuon sila. So that's one. So number 2 is, just imagine punta ka grocery store para magpalit o gas or any sari-sari store, and nabantay ni mga nagtaas ang presyo sa bugas. Why is that? Well, one reason is the high tariffs we impose on imported rice. So currently we have a 30% tariff on rice imported from ASEAN countries and 40% sa non-ASEAN countries. Tapos kanina ako siya impact sa prices. It's because these high tariffs make imported rice much more higher, which in turn drives up the price of local rice. While these tariffs are meant to protect local farmers man good, so pagtaas ang imported rice, so mas daghan mo palit sa local farmers na to. But some experts argue that they are too high. They believe that lowering the tariffs to between 10% and 20% could make rice more affordable for Filipino consumers. However, ang problema sa dani kay it could also lead to an influx of cheaper imported rice. So, mas managan na mamalit sa imported rice kaysa sa local price, which is negative impact po siya sa atong local farmers. So, ang kailangan dito is a balancing act, a delicate balance between protecting our farmers and ensuring affordable rice for everyone is mas tiyada ganyan buhatan. And then, risk of substandard imports. So, lower tariffs may lead to an influx of lower quality rice lagi, and this could pose risk to food safety and consumers' health. So, stricter quality control measures are necessary to mitigate this risk. So, ato na siyang matackle pod sa isa na pagka portion aning topic. So, let's start by quickly reviewing the Rice Tariffication Law, or RTL. This law was designed to address rice supply and price issues by replacing quantitative restrictions on rice imports with tariffs. So, ang goal ani is to lower the cost of rice and make it more accessible para sa mga consumers while increasing the kaning competitiveness sa mga local farmers. And isa sa key features of this law is the Rice Competitiveness Enhancement Fund, or RCEF, which is ang goal ani is to support sa mag-support sa atong local farmers. And then this fund is intended to provide resources of or things like mechanization, training, and the distribution of high quality seeds, all of which are meant to help farmers improve their productivity and compete with imported rice. However, as we will discuss, there are some concerns regarding the implementation of the law, especially when it comes to the importation process. So, kaning sanitary and phytosanitary import clearance or SPSIC is para ma-ensure that kaning mga imported rice nato is dili siya mag-introduce og harmful pests or pathogens sa ato ang local ecosystem. This law mandates that private importers secure a sanitary or phytosanitary import clearance SPSIC sa ato ang Bureau of Plant Industry, which is BPI. Aya nila mahatod ang rice diri sa atong country or imported rice. So the SPSIC is then intended to protect the Philippines from pests like bukbok or kaning rice weevils. Known ni siya to infest rice grains, and by ensuring that all imported rice meets the sanitary and phytosanitary standards, we reduce the risk of introducing diseases that could damage local rice crops. However, kani siya nga system, kabalang mga beneficial siya, pero nagawin siya own set of challenges which we will look into the next slide. So potential for abuse in SPSIC process is, despite its intent to protect local agriculture, and Dr. Ramon Clarete, an economist from the University of the Philippines, has raised concerns about the potential for abuse in the SPSIC process. Based on past experience, he warns that the system could be vulnerable to manipulation. For example, is that the enforcement of SPSIC requirements could be weak or inefficient, and allowing kanang mga corrupt or kanang maro nga importers to bypass or exploit the clearance process, and this could result in contaminated or low quality rice entering the market. Tapos ang local rice dayon kay kanang na siya risk dayon ba sa mga consumers health because lagi dili na siya secured. And then, if the enforcement of the SPSIC isn't kanang dili nila mas mapahigpit, this could undermine the goals of the rice tarification law and have detrimental effects on both the market and local farmers. So, tako gyud siya og kanang epekto. Next is alternative use of the rice fund. Labo na focus on farmers. So, another concern is how the Rice Competitiveness Enhancement Fund or RCEF is being used. So according to Dr. Emil Q. Javier, isa siya ka banggitan nga figure from the National Academy of Science and Technology, nagsuggest nga ang current nga allocation of the fund might not be the best approach. Currently, RCEF is primarily used for subsidies for mechanization, seed, distribution, and training. While these are important, ingon si Dr. Javier, nag-argue siya nga that the fund should be redirected to better financial support na lang for rice farmers, specifically improving their access to the credit and crop insurance kaya labi nagdagan kayo calamity sa gagakaagi sa to. And why is this important? Access to credit and insurance could help farmers invest in their own operations. Makarecover sila sa crop losses due to weather events lagi or pest baka dili nila ma-control, and also reduce their vulnerability to market fluctuations. This in turn could lead to more sustainable growth and increased resilience for the local rice industry. And next is the impact on local rice farmers. Tanaw na to let's take a closer look at the impact of these issues on local rice farmers, like the influx of imported rice. If not properly regulated man good through processes like SPSIC, mag-lead to siya sa price competition that local farmers may struggle to meet. Also, imported rice that doesn't meet the same quality standards could be sold at lower prices, so undermining local producers who are already facing financial difficulties. And furthermore, without proper access to credit and crop insurance, many farmers are left vulnerable to crop failures, price volatility, and the high cost of modern agricultural practices. This make it difficult for them to improve productivity, adopt new technologies, or recover from unforeseen circumstances. So, in short, ang local farmers need yun og better financial tools and protections in place to make the industry more sustainable and competitive. And next is recommendations and solutions. So what can we do to address these concerns man? So naay mga tulo ka book dire, which is the strengthened SPIC enforcement. So we need to improve the transparency and efficiency of the SPSIC process, because this means ensuring that the rice imports are kanang ma-inspect dito sa tarong nga kanang any manipulation or bypassing or of the system is kanang ma-detect yun sa nga sa yupa or dili na siya makalabay bitaw. And next is reprioritize ang rice fund. Instead of i-focus na siya sa mechanization or kanang seed subsidies, ato na lang himuon nga ang kaning Rice Competitiveness Enhancement Fund should prioritize kanang improving farmers' access to credit and crop insurance. Kay lagi ito yung nako ganina nga grabe ang calamity karon nung bagyo, also na po yung mga pest na ang uban kaning farmers kay dili sila kabalo sa pag-control, so mas maayo na lang siguro ng insurance. Okay, this would give farmers the financial tools they need to weather market fluctuations, invest in long-term improvements, and reduce the risk that they face. And last is build better infrastructure. So you also need to invest in agricultural infrastructure that helps train farmers, like katong solar dryer. Kailangan yun og solar dryer kay ang uban lagi nga ilang ginabuhat na lang is ang dalan dito sila kanang gabulad, which is dili pod kayo siya ingon nga kanang efficient, kay dili man siya designed for kanang pangbulad. And then kung isa ka ulanan, mga basa dayon ang kuan ilahang gipabulad. So instead of ingatan lagi, build na lang for sustainable farming practices and provide better financial services na lang, and this would allow local farmers to become more resilient and competitive in the global rice market.